17th Board of Education meeting to order at 7 o'clock p.m. Roll call, Mary?
Chairman Papa-Holter.
Here.
Vice Chair D'Onofrio.
Here.
Secretary Sienna. Here. Janet Balsamo.
Here.
Zachary Canada.
Here.
Kim Dawson.
Here.
Victoria Alonso.
Here.
Salute the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Scott, before we get into the agenda, do you just want to make a quick statement about the mask mandate? Sorry, I know you sent out a memo, but just so we have it on record.
Absolutely. You all received my letter stating that on the 28th, the executive order will subside, and on March 1st, North Branford will be going to a mask optional situation in all of our buildings. So that being said, we also will not be testing employees who are not vaccinated, and that was effective immediately. So those were two current changes. I received some notification from the state this evening about some of the protocols that we will be sharing as soon as they are vetted. I will get an email out to obviously the board and then to all the parents for strategies. If the student is positive, what will that look like for what we've been doing. So we're going to continue with a lot of the mitigation strategies, but the masking will be optional for our students.
So mask optional, no testing, masks on buses, yes?
Yes, that's a federal regulation, so we have no say in that at all. So the students will be required to wear masks to and from school.
Okay, and
Sports.
CIAC?
CIAC is going to let us know. I would think within the next 48 hours, the recommendation was to allow athletes to participate without masks, and they're just waiting for a final word on that. I think the spring sports seasons will be outdoors, and that will be mask-free.
Okay.
But we're just waiting for indoor, for which we are in right now, to hear about basketball and those sports.
Okay, great, thank you.
Basketball's almost over though, isn't it?
It is, unless you're in the state tournament.
Okay.
So with the conference tournament and the state tournament, it could go on for another 3 weeks to a month.
Okay.
So, depending upon how you do.
Okay, visitors? All right, none. Okay, student representatives.
Hi, girls.
Hi. Since you guys have your purple books, I will start off with that. So the course scheduling process for the 22-23 school year takes place during this month. Guidance staff has provided course registration materials to the current 9th through 11th grade students by visiting all flex periods. Students will then register for the required and preferred courses on the 23rd and the 24th.
The North Branford Rotary Student of the Month events will be held during March and later this spring. The Rotary honors students during a monthly meeting. Students are identified by departments at NBHS for this recognition, and then their parents and the NBHS Interactive Advisors are invited to attend the dinner meetings held locally. Seniors are continuing with their required Capstone Project that focuses on career exploration. Each student begins the project during their junior year. Typically, students completed their approved volunteer hours shadowing an off-site mentor during the summer before senior year. Students must complete reflective journal entries based upon prompts provided, write a reflective essay, and complete a mini presentation during the spring. Capstone Coordinator Mrs. Tetso has provided great support and flexibility for our seniors as they complete this state-mandated requirement. For my capstone, I visit classes at TVS and JHS a few times a week, and I just help with whatever the teachers need, the kids and all of that. So I'm using that through Dream Team with Mrs. McCroy.
Do you have intentions of wanting to be a teacher?
Psychologist.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All
I'm
right,
a
nice.
psychologist or a therapist.
Nice. Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't mean to jump in there. I know what you're doing.
I'm part of the Naval Sea Cadets in New Haven. So I'm doing my capstone based off of that, based off of my experiences, both leadership-wise and just as a member of a junior military group. My goal is to make a pamphlet that we can give to our guidance department for kids who may want to be interested in some sort of military aspect.
Are you planning on joining the military?
I have been looking into the Coast Guard.
Okay.
I applied for school there. I sadly did not get in, but after college, I'm planning to maybe go to OCS or just to enlist in general.
Nice.
Very nice.
And then our last thing is a winter sports season sort of wrap up. So the sports season will be wrapping up during the month of February with some teams qualifying for post-regular season tournaments. Girls basketball will be competing in the Shoreline and CIAC state tournaments starting this Saturday. With the boys hockey looking to qualify for tournament play, needing some wins down the stretch of the regular season to qualify for the CIAC state tournament. They are currently 6-11. Braden has recently joined the 1,000-point club for the sport for basketball at NVHS, which is a huge accomplishment for her. Our other sports, boys basketball is wrapping up their season they have a new coach with their new coach. Track had one student make it to state. Sadly, she did not make it any further, but she had a great season. Swimming is currently 8-1-1, and our fencing team has 4 seniors going to the state tournament on March 5th.
Nice.
That's
Do you
wonderful.
know any-
Congratulations, Braden.
Do you know any of the fencing people?
Well, there's only 6 of us, so
That's my cue.
it's me,
And brag a little bit about
Zechariah Ford, who's my co-captain, Sam Barrett, and Dave DeSana.
and they're doing really well. Our fencing team, we have a new coach who's, I think, bringing it to another level, and the equipment and things, they've really stepped it up, and it's fun to see, and we're really proud to offer it. Not many schools offer
Right.
fencing
Yeah.
and swimming, and we call
I
it
didn't know we had swimming.
we're really
We have
doing
two.
a lot.
Two
with
girls.
two girls swimming.
2 of the girls swim during this season.
Nice.
With who, though? Is it East Haven or North Haven?
They swim,
North Haven, Guilford, and I believe it is East Haven. It's a multi-team.
it's a 14.
Okay.
The girls can swim with the boys team if they play a fall sport, because it's a boys' season right now. It's the only sport the CIC allows for.
Oh, okay.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, girls.
Good luck.
So before you go, you mentioned that Braden had an accomplishment, so on behalf of the Board of Ed, we want to congratulate you for 1,000 points in your, well, you're not done yet.
Braden better not be done with
No, we're still fighting.
Just saying, Braden. Just saying.
We're still going.
But it's just a small token of our appreciation for all your hard work and your success, not only as a player, but a leader on that team. You've got a big part of that, so we look forward to cheering you on, Mr. Stuffer, even a photo op. Whatever you want to go on the board, let's go this way. And if the board members want to stand, and we can kind of, don't stand behind Brady, but you will not be in the picture.
For sure not.
I don't know.
Can you see it?
So you're going to say hoops? Got it.
Thank you.
Wouldn't be able to see from there, but you don't.
See you guys tomorrow.
All right, so before we move on though, Madam Chair, if I can, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to take the December minutes out of the consent agenda and vote on them separately. Somebody second?
Oh, second.
Oh,
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does everyone know why we had to do that? So we have 2 new board members, and I didn't attend the December meeting, so we need to abstain from it, so we can't approve the consent agenda because that's just pulled into it. Okay. All right, go ahead, Darcy.
Okay, then I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the December 16th, 2021 Board of Education meeting as submitted.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mayor?
And Jan, are you second that?
Yes.
Chairman Papaholzer,
Abstain?
Vice Chair Anafrio,
Yes.
Secretary Sienna,
Yes.
Jana Balsamo,
Yes?
Zachary Canada,
Yes.
Kim Dawson,
Yes.
You have to abstain, sorry, abstain, yeah.
Abstain.
and Victoria Runza.
Okay. Then I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda of the February 17th, 2022 Board of Education meeting as submitted.
I'll second. Discussion?
Yes.
Does everyone know where the consent agenda is?
So it's basically item 6 all the way down, the minutes, the resignations, the appointments. Well, when do you want,
Basically until a motion.
All the way through the motion.
yeah, but we need to do the, actually, we need to do the committees. Do you want to do that after we approve the consent agenda?
Yeah, let's do it afterwards, but let's keep Zach in the consent agenda for the alternate.
Mhm.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I just wanted to say congratulations to Marie Torrey and Terry Rienzo on their retirements. They will be missed. They've been pillars in this school system for
Yeah.
quite some time.
In the cafeteria for Marie for 33 years and Terry for 21 as a secretary.
Yeah.
So, they've been very loyal to us.
Does everyone know what the consent agenda is? So we basically lump in a bunch of different items that would need separate motions. And we do that because they're usually not anything that we would oppose as a board. It's things that are going to pass through easily, like the minutes, resignations, what else is on here? Leaves of absences were removed, if it was there.
Donations and field trips.
Donations, field trips, like things that we're not gonna really oppose or gonna require much discussion about. So we lump them together so it saves time at the board meeting, and then we can keep focus on things that will require more of our attention.
Okay.
Yeah, so because we canceled the January meeting, and Shauna was out that night, and you ladies weren't part of the board yet, you have to abstain from the minutes, so that's why we pulled it out, so that we can have a clear vote on that.
Because from last.
From
This one,
December.
Consent agenda, you can vote on, but the December minutes, we had to abstain, the three of us, because you weren't on the board yet, and I wasn't at the meeting.
I see.
But this is current, so yes, you
We
were
can,
able to,
okay.
yeah.
Mhm. Please, stop us if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Okay, Mary.
Where does it start? Our end, sorry. Right here, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna go to this,
That's-
we're gonna go to the exhibit C.
Yeah, it actually says it, motion to approve the consent agenda, it's like the last line in page 2.
Just a question on field trips. Now that they're kind of easing off of COVID-19 mask mandates and things like that, does that open up any other opportunities for field trips in the remainder of the year?
It will, and as soon as we forward all the information from the state on those regulations, like I can tell you right now, we're having a junior and a senior prom.
Great.
I can tell you right now, they're going to be mask optional. I can tell you where they're going to be.
Where are they gonna be?
I can't tell you because that's a surprise. Wow. They don't know yet, right? Do they
We
know?
know where they are.
Yeah, we do know, but do the kids know?
Yes.
Oh, they do. All right, so
Can we know?
so
Bill
they're.
Miller's is the junior prom, April 9th. And the Friday before Memorial Day at Cascades in Hampton is the senior prom.
Oh, nice.
We've been in both places, and both places have done a nice job for us.
Great,
So,
great.
so yes, we're gonna, it'll really be dependent upon, where these field trips are going, or the ability to, like, we used to go.
The facilities where they go, may not do that.
Right.
So, I understand. I just didn't know if that was like off the table.
No, we're taking strong, we want to take steps towards getting back to.
We stopped for a little while, the out of country
Right.
field trips, we stopped for a while. We just started getting back to them before COVID hit.
What was the last trip you guys were?
We approved the trip, but then.
But then it didn't happen.
We had approved a trip to.
There was one to
Spain.
Spain, there was one to Canada.
The Spain was the most recent.
Yeah.
This is the most recent, and it's still being held?
What's that?
It's still being held?
Well, some of those kids have since graduated.
Yeah.
So the company was very good working with them because we did get refunds back.
Okay.
And even for the students that didn't have the travel insurance, we worked with the travel agency to at least split some of the costs that the families had out of pockets. All the kids got their monies back.
Oh, good, that's
Yeah, we
really
worked
nice.
with the kids
That's
together.
really nice.
Cool. That's awesome. Good.
Okay. No, I can't go.
Ready? Chairman Papa Holster,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nafrio,
Yes.
Secretary Sienna, Janet Balsamo,
Yes.
Zachary Canada,
Yes.
Kim Dawson,
Yes.
Victoria Alonso.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I will be very brief, just going back to points on the consent agenda. You had, under appointments, Katherine Thompson, who is here this evening. During the January meeting, which was canceled, obviously we didn't have an opportunity to meet Katherine as in her new position. So I'm just going to read a very quick bio so you know. Catherine, if you want to raise your hand or stand.
Yes, hi everybody.
So our new supervisor of special services, Katherine Thompson, comes to us with 11 years of experience as an educator, most recently the past 3 years at Middletown Public Schools, managing very large federal mental health grants. In this role, she led district-wide professional development, implementation of multi-tiered system of support, including comprehensive student support services, extensive special ed background, and leadership experiences through her recent roles in Middletown. She's a nationally certified school psychologist and worked in this role for 8 years, supporting students ages 3 to 21 across elementary and secondary schools in both suburban and urban settings. She's a lifelong Connecticut resident, educator, and learner. She received her bachelor's from Eastern, her master's in 6th year in school psychology from University of Hartford, and in Ed Leadership 092 from Central, graduating top of her class. She's a passionate, student-centered educator, and she's thrilled to be here in North Branford. So we welcome you, Catherine. We're happy you're here. And I know already she's been out and active in all the schools and making relationships and getting to know our students. So we talked about some changes with that position, and things are really coming to fruition with Catherine joining us. So we welcome you.
Thank you.
Exhibits are in there for your review. We're not going to get into it for buildings, and we're going to move on to my report. There's no recommendations, recognition other than the 1,000-point score. You have the communication of board briefs from all of the buildings. Our kindergarten enrollment is at 77 right now. Last year was a large class, Ms. Parker, with 125.
129.
129, okay. So will we get to 129 this year? I don't know. I would be shocked if we did, that we were coming off the pandemic and people were holding their children a year and then sending them, so I think that was above the year. On average, we're usually around 110 to 150. So
Is it still early?
It is.
It is. And
It is.
typically around this time of year is usually in the low 80s, so we're right where we typically are, taking last year out of the equation.
Yeah.
The summer is when we get our
Yeah.
big blood.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's thinking about kindergarten?
Yeah, people come in.
No, it's still early.
So that's that for kindergarten. And each month, we'll keep you apprised of that number of where we're at with enrollment. The next item has been on the agenda, similar to with looking at the cafeteria and food selection and quality. And this is something that has been under the social emotional learning piece. So we're here just to get some direction on how you would like to proceed as a board with what our buildings can do to educate and share curricular things that are happening. So I'll leave it up to the board.
Yeah, so my vision, and the board can weigh in on it, is that, so right now SEL is like a big hot topic, and it presents itself in a lot of different ways in a lot of different school districts. It's in a lot of different grade levels, it presents itself differently. So what I was hoping is that we can have a public forum so that the schools can demonstrate what social emotional learning is in North Branford, how we see it in a daily, on a daily basis to our children. So we can see, because it's not necessarily curriculum, I don't really know how to explain it the best way, but it's almost like an addition to, it's a philosophy and a culture, and we just want to see how it's presenting so we can understand it. Same along the lines of diversity, equity, and inclusion. How does that present itself either in curriculum or in day-to-day schooling at the various levels? Just so parents can be aware, because it's not just a board thing, it's so that parents can understand it. They're getting all this buzz from the news, there's like hype from different local towns, and I think it's really important people understand where North Branford sits and what it looks like in our school districts, because it's not a one-size-fits-all, and there's different approaches all over the place. So I'm thinking a public forum is the best way to do it, where there's a question and answer. I don't foresee it being anything adversarial, but I foresee it being educational in nature.
So one question, or would we like to do it K-12 under one roof or in separate by building? And we're flexible, so it's really not.
Yeah, Tracy, administrators, what do you think? Do you think it's good for parents to see the spectrum of it, from the little ones to the high school, so they can see how it presents? I mean, some parents have multiple children, so it might be one-stop shop might be better. Other kids might have, parents have one child, but they're in the lower school and might want to see how it evolves. So, for me initially, and Marcy and I were talking about it a little bit before, maybe one forum that each school presents a little bit of a piece, and then we can have an organized question and answer. Might be the best way, but what are your thoughts?
I'm sure it looks different in every school. Social and emotional learning is different for the K-2 kids as it is for the 6-8 kids. So maybe if each administrator, or principal from the building or their spokesperson could just talk for like 5 minutes, explain how it's handled in their school, let people sit there and listen, and then if they have questions, we can answer the questions and put it to rest.
So we'll look to, we're going to be sending notification out about the auditorium and the ability to bring, people in, and that's where we would do it. Obviously, it's our largest venue for that. So we'll look to do that in the spring.
Does that sound good to you guys?
And
It's fine.
And once we get a date, if there's a way for parents to send questions ahead of time, that might be helpful too.
We can arrange that.
Yeah, right, because sometimes, I know this is a hot topic and there's some anxiety, but if we can get the questions ahead of time and, tailor it to where our parents are, I think that would be nice so that everyone can understand and be, just level set so we all understand.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, though, when say that discussion happens, do we make a decision as a board based on the Q&A, or where is that?
We don't make a decision on it.
meaning if we have the form or not.
Sorry, after the form.
What are we making a decision?
Like, do we incorporate these two things in our curriculum or?
Oh, no, they're already in. It's
They've been
statutory.
for years.
They have to be by statute. So we're just educating.
So what was that thing, the letter that went out prior?
So,
that was the letter that we sent.
oh, okay, so that was a
Right
state.
as that.
It was a state grant, I know what
pilot.
you
I
mean.
think it was a pilot.
Yeah, so that was a state grant that they were putting out for districts to pilot this program. So then we refused that and we didn't do it.
Okay.
So we won't be participating in that. So that was a separate state.
Separate than what we're
Oh,
talking
then
about.
It's just for educational purposes only.
So this is, we've been practicing, is that the best word, practicing? SEL, teaching, practicing?
Incorporating.
For years.
SEL for a very long time.
Somewhere.
But it's changed its face in recent years, or it has the possibility of changing face. And so it's just important that our district and our parents and us as a board understand what's in our schools.
Right.
Right.
So that we can speak to it.
And it's, you'll see, when I say it's a statutory obligation, we have to do it. This is something that, when you look at our course of study, there's a new course in there because we're required to have it. It has to be in our offerings. So these are things that,
It's not a health course, it's a course for something else.
yeah.
So Scott's just talking about in general, that are statutory requirements.
Oh,
Yeah, no, he's not talking about that. So, but in the health requirements,
Yeah.
standards for the state of Connecticut, the standards that the state has adopted, there are references to components that would be considered under social emotional learning.
And I
So
think
that's where that stuff
important.
comes from.
And I think that's important for parents to understand what's mandated, what we control, what we don't control. Because that might be a question. You can't just say there's no SEL in school.
Well, so even
But-
in in the preschool, we had a preschool evening event last night where we talked about the different options parents have in North Branford, and we just quickly glanced over the early learning standards and development standards for Connecticut,
Yeah.
and they include social emotional.
Yeah.
So it's one of the 8 domains that are included
Yeah.
and required in order to get funding from the state to have a preschool
Right,
program.
and what does that look like? And I think that's it, like, so there's this mandate, where's the flex in it? What's the mandate actually? What do we have to comply to? And where do we have jurisdiction to apply it?
Right, so my point about, there's a course in here that's mandated
Yeah.
in the social studies curriculum. So you'll see that as an
Yeah.
elective course that we've never had in before. We have to do it, that's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be going through this just because I have to pick out my own child's classes.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I
you-
guess she does, but
Does that mandate also go for DEI, or is it just SEL?
Well, DI is a little different, like,
Yeah.
when you talk about the I inclusion, it's really a result of things. It's how things end up, meaning all children are included, things like
Correct.
that. So it's not particularly a standards-based curriculum item. It's more about what we strive to make sure happens in schools. And it's about the result of things that happen.
so maybe we should probably address DEI. I know that there's committees at the college level. I'm not sure what it looks like in all of our different schools, but that's probably something we should discuss too, is if there are DEI committees at every school, what do they look like? Who's on the committee? What's the mission of the committee?
Well, Carter, your wellness committee is standing and it's, you know,
Yeah, I think that includes elements of social emotional learning, not so much diversity, equity, and inclusion.
right.
Yeah, that's long-standing.
Can wellness include food, Carter?
It does.
In its school?
It does.
Nutrition?
It does.
Includes healthy food.
It does. I was on that committee and
Where-
and
I
I
did.
actually, I was on it when it started and I actually really enjoyed it, but I couldn't do 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out for that time. So when we get to that, there's an opening for it if somebody
Yeah.
wants to be on it.
Yeah.
Whoever can work it into their schedule when we get to that.
So we'll look at some dates.
And a further question, I'm sorry, does the DEI go through a curriculum committee, or is it carte blanche?
Say that again to me.
Does this DEI go through a curriculum committee?
All of, anything that's incorporated into our courses is in the curriculum of those courses. So what would happen is you would see, and our committee council would see where exactly that is and where it fits in, especially if it's something that spans the full continuum.
Right.
Because we would want to make sure that things flow in a sequential manner.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I guess it really is important that we do it all at one time with every grade. If it makes sense, right? It's sequential learning.
And we could talk about standards and what it means, and
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay, perfect.
All right, any other questions on that? It looks like we'll pick a date and we'll put together a questionnaire and get some feedback, and then we'll present, you know, a PowerPoint on what's happening pre-K through 12.
Perfect.
All right?
Yep.
Okay, next up, the ACES Open Choice Program. As you know, we have been participating in the school choice program for a number of years. It is a requirement. We have 26 seats, and we're asking that the board continue to support the school choice program. It's life-changing for many students from New Haven that are able to come in and be a part of our system. I think our students get equally as much from the diversity and backgrounds of the students coming into the district, and they've really become a part of the fabric of our school community and been involved in many events. And many of these kids get up at 5 in the morning to get a school choice bus to get here, and then if they play after school, they're not getting home till 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. So there's a great deal of sacrifice for these students that have the opportunity to be a part of our school community. So I'd ask that you continue to support for the next school year with 26 seats.
And that's what we have? How many of the seats are filled now?
We have 7 that we'll have to fill for next year. All the graduating group going out.
Okay.
So we'll fill 7 seats for next year.
Okay.
Were those 7 seniors leaving, or was it 7 across? It looks like I kind of took a good look at your graph, and I wasn't quite sure if it looks like some dropped off across.
Some, if they did not come and attend, they wouldn't be on there, and they're graduating seniors. So then we go and backfill based upon those who applied and the openings that we had at the different levels. We try to spread them through.
Of course. Is there any kind of follow-up as to why we lost those 7 outside the seniors, or just curious?
I don't know how many seniors I have in choice right now.
We have 2 currently.
Two going out, so the other 5 may have moved. I know one student moved to East Haven, I think, and so that was the 3rd, and then the other 4 just probably didn't didn't get into the program.
And then maybe maybe this is going to be common knowledge, but like, what's the enrollment process look like for someone?
ACES handles all of
ACES
that.
does it all.
ACES
Is it a
does
lottery, Scott?
everything.
Is
It's
it
a
kind of like
lottery,
lottery? Yeah.
and we get a lot of requests for students to come into North Branford, but they handle all of that.
Really?
They do all of that.
Alright. So each town kind of has a billet, so to speak, to fill. We have
Right.
26.
Right.
The kids go to the lottery.
Based on their enrollment.
And they can say, yeah, I want to go to North Branford or Guilford or whatever, whoever's enrolled.
Correct.
Fair enough.
Okay, well, I'd like to make a motion. The Board of Education endorses open choice for the 2022-2023 school year with its continuation of 26 seats.
I'll second. Any additional discussion? Let's have a roll call vote.
Chairman Papaholzer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anafrio,
Yes.
Secretary Sienna,
Yes.
Janet Balsamo,
Yes?
Zachary Canada,
Yes.
Kim Dawson,
Yes.
and Victoria Lanza.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much on behalf of the Open Choice students. Next is the ACES Education Center for the Arts. For those who are not aware, we have 8 seats where our students spend a half a day in North Branford and then travel to the ACES location in New Haven to take part in a number of creative artistic courses. It could be dance, creative writing, drawing, a number of things that we are not able to offer at our school district, and they call from many surrounding towns and come in and have this experience. It's been a phenomenal opportunity for our students, and we've had 8 students that we have supported in the past, and we're asking the board to support 8 students, again, moving forward.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve the ACES Educational Center for the Arts student enrollment of 8 slots for the 2022-2023 school year.
I'll second. Any discussion?
Can I just ask a
Yes,
question
of
on
course.
that?
Sure.
If we approve the 8, will more students apply to go in?
We only fill what we have. So if we have
Okay.
one opening, if a student decides not to go, and we have 7 that are returning, then they would audition for ACES. They have to audition to get into the program.
Okay.
And then they would go through a process of eliminating. So not all students.
There's a dollar amount attached to this.
To it.
Okay.
How much is it, Martha? Do you know off the top? It's like $7,000 or $8,000, isn't it?
Yeah,
Per
I
student?
forget off the top of my
It's
head.
lower.
It's lower.
It's
I
lower
would
than
say
that?
about 6,000.
About 6,000? So there's a dollar. We just can't do as many as we want because there is a price tag with it.
And they handle all of the additions for the students. We have no involvement in that.
Gotcha.
Roll call?
Chairman Papaholzer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anafrio,
Yes.
Secretary Sienna, Janet Balsamo,
Yes.
Zachary Canada,
Yes.
Kim Dawson,
Yes.
Victoria Lanza.
Yes.
Thank you on behalf of the ACES
Almost took it better.
students. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Martha for the finance.
You have your board packet in front of you. We'll start off with the audit report for 2021. We received that audit report at the very end of January, had an opportunity to look through it. At the end of the fiscal year, when we left here at the close of business on June 30th, there were no remaining funds available in the 2021 year. Through normal process, the $1.4 million in open purchase orders that were open when we left at the end of the fiscal year, things change. So you have price changes, you have shipping, you have items back ordered, maybe discontinued, items that are returned, which may or may not be replaced. All these factors can and do create a difference in the amount of purchase order as compared to the invoice. In addition, there are those things that we cannot possibly exactly estimate what it's going to cost because they fluctuate from month to month. Utilities, purchase services, if something breaks, facility-wise, our professional purchase services, benefits, all those things fluctuate. Also, as the audit begins to wind down and October comes, we have to close all of those open purchase orders that remain. We tried to stretch it out for as long as we could, because this year, as with everybody, there have been supply chain issues and shipping delays. So some of the things that we actually ordered in the spring or at the end of the fiscal year didn't come in. We pushed it, but we were ultimately told those POs have to be closed. So we did, we closed those. So after all was said and done, all those changes happened, we were left with $524,000 that we did not use of our appropriated budget.
Can you tell me what items they were related to roughly? Because I'm going to guess 524, that's a big sum, and typically we
So
have
it's, I can't tell you in
Yeah.
summary, but just so you know, you have a full list of those open purchase orders, who the vendor was, the amount that was originally encumbered, the amount that was open as of June 30th, and whether or not there was an amount that was liquidated and given back. So it's approximately, I think, 10-page document, and you will see every single one of those purchase orders. The majority are things that we cannot control, such as special education tuitions, professional services related to special education, benefits, so insurance, because things change from month to month. There was some money, I believe, in a utility. It's all right there. You're welcome to look through.
So like I'm looking through, this is it, right?
Yes.
So like I'm looking through some big ticket items. There's ACES fiscal services for almost 50,000.
Yep.
There's
The bottom, look at the bottom of the first page, Anthem Blue Cross, 149.
Yeah, 149. I'm just trying to pull out some of the big
On the first
tickets.
page alone, there's over $200,000
Yeah.
just for ACES, special ed services, and Anthem. That's the lion's share of the 200,000. The gold standard in a $32.5 million is 1%.
In any budget.
In any budget. So if you're 1% at the end of your year, you've hit the nail on the head.
Job.
So when you look at, listen, you're talking to the superintendent who, for budgetary reasons, we want to provide and we want to do everything that we can with the money that we have because we want to be fiscally responsible. These are things that were really beyond our control. And when I look at, $500,000 going back to the town, I'm hoping the town is going to work with us and cooperate with us moving forward in this next budget year with these monies, because there's a number of things that this money could be earmarked towards moving forward next year. We're at a 4.16 increase right now, with 3.5 being status quo. $500,000 is over a percentage point. It's almost two percentage points right there that could really help us next year.
Well, I think there's two things, Martha. One, I'd be really concerned if we were over budget.
You'd be liable.
Yeah,
If
we'd be
we
in
were
trouble.
over budget, we're
Right,
actually
and I would never let that happen, but that would be the only way.
Right.
It's a very dangerous way to come out at the end of an audit with a zero.
Right.
You
We-
would
yeah.
have to overspend.
Right.
And we can't do that.
No, we can't do that. And I don't want to be personally liable, I'll be honest.
Just new board members, just so you know.
It's true though, he's not joking.
If we go over or spend it on, you're liable.
He's not joking.
What I would like to prepare though, because we are in budget season, and I know this is going to be fast on the radar of the town, is there are large buckets of similar vendors, like I see Quill, Pearson, Leaf, Next Gen, so those are just items, just explain what happened, so we should be prepared for, because they're going to lump it into large buckets, right?
A lot of those, I'm not going to say a lot of them, but there are several purchase orders that we had to close, and those items are coming in now.
So we're still paying for a lot of that.
Is it supply chain
Year's
issue?
money.
Yeah, so things that, like my preschool, you'll
Yeah.
see some things
Yeah.
that would have been Quill and school specialty. For the preschool, we had issues getting the furniture in because of delays.
Yes.
It's still coming in, and now I'm trying to find money somewhere else. So as Scott said about the town council,
Yeah.
right now I'm taking from other things to pay that because the money was taken away. Same thing with professional development. Professional developments, that couldn't happen because we weren't allowing people into the buildings. I still had that done, whether it be virtually or other way.
Yeah.
I still am now trying to find other monies to pay.
So I think we need, when we're going to budget, because it's going to be a question, we need to be buttoned up on.
It was already brought up.
It was brought up, but I mean, it's going to be brought up in
We'll
another
clump the
form.
major things,
Clump the
special
major things
education.
with the dollar amount, so that it's an easy look explanation. And again, we have to understand that COVID is an anomaly year, hopefully. And, you know, there were supply, I mean, a lot of it, you could see it's supply. You know, it's.
The big
So-
ticket, the first page is over 200,000 just on
So-
healthcare and special education.
But yeah, just as long as there's an explanation, that's it, like.
Yeah, I mean, do you
So-
think we should send an explanation ahead of time to the town council? So it doesn't feel like we're being reactive, that we're.
Yeah, I think,
Because it did come up at their meeting on Tuesday night.
yeah, and the other thing is,
And that
the
was
audit
because they
report.
were presented with the audit report.
Right, so what I'm
Exactly.
glad you also explained, Martha, and so one of the reasons we have finance now at the board meeting, it used to be a separate committee with myself, Marcy, one other board member, 2 town council members in the back room. And one of the things, and right, Martha?
Yes.
And one of the things that we were worried about is transparency. So we're responsible to the taxpayers, and we're voted in by the taxpayers. So these discussions should be had in public forum, under recording, in my opinion, so that if there is a question, it can be answered because we are accountable. So yes, I'm glad you also brought up that you received the audit on January 31st. It's also important to note that our January board meeting was canceled due to weather, so this is the first board meeting that was the opportunity. We didn't discuss it in our budget meeting, so it was coming to the table today. But yes, it would be nice if you could do that, send it to the board and send it to the town council so they have it at their fingertips. I think A, it's respectful and it facilitates good collaboration.
Yeah, I agree.
Everyone agree with that?
I never thought they'd be upset for me giving too much money back.
I don't know if they're upset or not. I think they just want to
Listen.
make sure that it's
No.
aligned, and I think they'd be really upset if we overspent, and so would I.
No.
But I think it's good to communicate why it was, so they understand that we are on top of our budget, that we are being responsible, and these things are what happened. And moving forward, they should anticipate, and Martha, give a swag of what they should anticipate back every year. So they
Well,
have an
every
idea.
year is different.
It's going to be a little different, but
And
you
you're
should have
coming
some
out
sort of a
of-
swag. You're not going to be at $0.
No.
Coming out of the pandemic, I mean, this was a curveball that.
Yeah.
But I also think it wouldn't hurt if Tracy chimed in on it and explained that some of this was furniture for the preschool, and we had to return,
Yeah,
we
you
had to
just
return
cluster
the money, and now the furniture's coming in, and we're still responsible.
Yeah.
Like, they need to understand that we're still responsible to pay for that furniture, even though the money was
Yeah.
taken away, you know? I mean, that might help a
Just
little
put-
bit when it
yeah.
comes to budget.
We'll cluster it.
Yeah, just
We'll
fine.
make it more reader friendly.
Exactly.
10 pages, $524,000, item by item, so it's
Yeah.
all there.
Yeah.
And then we'll make it easy for them.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
like it because, I mean, even now your budgets, Martha, I can read them so easily in comparison to what they were, several years back. I struggled to get through them, and now they're very easily, and it was funny, it was brought to my attention, we had 500,000 change given back, and I'm like, where? I see those budgets. I'm like, I do this for a living. Like, how did I not see that? And it's because they were already encumbered, like you had
Yes,
them
yes.
allotted, and so now
Yes.
it's making more sense.
And I included
Yeah.
in your packet, it's the final page
Yep.
of the
Yep.
2021, and you'll see the 0.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect,
Yeah,
thank you.
it's perfect, okay.
Moving on, update on the new financial system, the setting up and training on the new financial system for the business office is going very well.
Good.
We are excited with the functionality that we're seeing. Things like budget transfers will no longer require a piece of paper. They're going to require, it'll go through an approval path, just like our requisitions do.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, so that's very exciting. There's invoices and packing slips and things will be able to be attached electronically. So it will eliminate the need for those items to pass through interoffice mail or from desk to desk. And it'll eliminate anything being lost because it will always be attached electronically, which is nice.
That is
Training for the end user will happen probably in mid to late spring. And we're hoping that Munis will actually come on site and train all of our users together in their roles. So in other words, the secretaries will have a training session to themselves, and the administrators will have a training session.
Has that been arranged already, or no?
It was actually mentioned when we were looking for a product, and it's something we're training virtually now so that we saved the on-site for everyone else.
Yep.
I think on-site training is important because I wanted to do, so we could have question and answer and everybody could be hands-on.
Right.
And I think everyone is a little more focused that way.
Yeah, agreed.
And by that time, the system will be set up and we will have been trained. And then it'll give everybody else the opportunity to be trained.
That's a good plan.
That's great.
Let's see.
So it'll be ready to go for the next fiscal year.
For July 1st is the start date for your financial software, the accounting piece, and then the HR and payroll modules will be implemented after. So I think they're saying maybe by next January, we'll have the HR and payroll piece up.
What's the lag?
They don't do both modules together, which I was surprised because when I did this back in 2008 in a different district, we did the whole system. But they said that by doing one at a time, it's easier because you get the bugs out, worked for the accounting, and then the HR and the payroll function comes second.
Okay.
So for the 21-22 budget, it remains in good standing. I'm not going to read all of the notable objects here. Read through them. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to call, email, or stop in.
Yep.
Third page is blank.
Huh?
The third page is blank.
Yeah.
I fixed theirs.
We all have one.
No, I have some.
Just two.
What are you hiding from me? Okay. Any questions for Ms. Wine? Okay, thank you, Martha. So moving along, curriculum instruction, as you are aware, we passed out the program of signups for course signups, which are actively going on right now. Tracy's going to just talk a little bit about the Capstone Project. Mr. Steffler's here as well to answer any questions. I know that a link was sent out for a 20-minute video for you to see. If you did not get it or didn't have a chance to see it, we can resend it to you if there was a problem. But that being said, Tracy.
So obviously you do have the program and studies in front of you. If you want to take it home and look at it, if you have any questions, please let us know and we would be happy to answer. As Scott mentioned previously, there are things that you will see from one year to the next that change a little. Sometimes that's in response to graduation requirements. Sometimes it's in response to other mandates that we get requiring us to offer certain things or inclusion of certain things in various courses. So it is a standard. What is notable about this is that many of the new graduation requirements that went into effect years ago were for the class of 2023. So this book represents the last leg of their journey and includes a couple things that those students needed to have in place for them to graduate.
Tracy, can you highlight the changes in the curriculum book from last year to this year?
The program of studies?
Yeah, in this thing, and the graduation requirements.
Sure, and it would be much easier. I can send it to you because it is lengthy. Like what we had to do
Just a bullet. I just want
our
bullets.
capstone is now going to actually turn into a mastery assessment and things like that because of the way things have changed.
Just bullets, though. Just bullets.
I can do that and send it out to you, and I can make it available to anyone who wants it. They can email and we can get that information.
There is a chart in there that has a summary of the
of the graduation requirements, right?
Requirements, and then the 23 and on, which is based on state statute, which your Board of Ed policy follows. We made those changes years ago.
Yes, got it.
So you'll see the differences. It's very similar, but you'll see some nuances. You mentioned the social emotional learning. You
This
can
one?
see that
Yes.
there's an extra credit of health, which is state mandated. So when you've talked before about stress management and substance abuse prevention and advocating for kids who need support or suicide prevention, some of those things are thread through social emotional learning as well. So some of it's about safety.
So like CPR, while a few years back we had to incorporate because of the state required, so now health class includes CPR training, things like that happen.
Got it.
So, and what the link was sent to us about our Capstone Project, which
Yep.
over the years has changed quite significantly, Mr. Stella, correct? When it first started out, it was really a different type of experience, and now it is part of a requirement. So at first, we had it for students to explore, for students who wanted to. And now it's for, as the young lady said, it's for all students to have that opportunity to either go and look at something that they're interested in, maybe something they're looking to go to major into or be a career. We've had people go into do hours at a hospital who are thinking they're going to be nursing majors that come back at the end of the year and say, there is no way I am doing this.
That was my favorite question when I used to tour their projects.
Absolutely.
So what did you decide? Are you gonna know? Or some of them be like, yeah, this is really what I wanna do, but.
Yeah, and in the video that you were sent, you saw about a young lady who helped out a football team as manager and some where that led her to be. And over the years, we've had quite a few extraordinary projects and students that have had great experiences. So that is what the link is for, and you were able to see. And that's what comes of these things.
Yeah.
When they're mandated, we do what we need to do, and then it becomes North Branford's.
Yep.
And it becomes the best that it could be for our students.
I think two of my favorite were the rocking chair. Remember that young man that made that rocking chair?
Dude, John D'Annunzio had that, and didn't Scott have it at graduation that year?
Yeah, and I loved the tractor. So I think those were two of my favorite projects over the years.
We really have had kids do great things. I mean, this is years now.
In 2017, we piloted it.
Wow.
And we were one of the first districts in the state to do it, and many people came in and spoke to Mrs. Tetzo about what we were doing and how they could emulate it in their own districts.
I remember that.
So PowerPoints are great and all, but sorry, I PowerPoint all day long.
I mean, I'm fine with doing it, but it was 20 minutes, so it would have taken a little longer in session than normally.
Do you think the board could ever be invited to the actual presentations for the capstone? Like, not all of us, but like.
We used to have it when it was in one room at one time, we invited everyone, so now it's separate presentations and.
Just not for your own child.
No, it's not, because
Moms
sometimes.
over here, the stress level of your child.
I wouldn't want to be there.
No.
So I
Just
get
so we
nervous.
can see. I mean, that to me would be so much more impactful.
Sure, I mean, and we could even take some students who would, for those that couldn't attend during the day, perhaps we could ask students to volunteer if they would have their presentations videotaped, and we could show you that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to be there. For me, I mean, I like the relationship. I like to be able to get to know and see people and hear them, and it's a product of all of you, right? And a product of their parent. Like, it's just so important to see, and I just like to be in that moment.
Prior to COVID, we would generally invite the mentors of kids, because sometimes the mentors are in the building, say, or in district, say, Ms. LeBeau spoke about TBS, but oftentimes the mentors are off-site, and we would invite the mentors to come in to see the final product and the presentation. So March 16th is the first date, and they would occur through 1 and 3 p.m., and April 6th is the second date, 1 to 3 p.m. Basically, the kids are in front of a mini panel of staff, 2 to 3 staff members. There's a rubric, so there's multiple presentations going on throughout the building. It's one of the shortened days, 2 shortened days, so the rest of the building is out, if you will, as far as students go. So that we were able to have the staff look at their capstone. So
that's great.
Those 2 dates you're invited. Just email Mrs. Tetzo and myself, just so we can.
March 16th and what?
March 16th and April 6th.
Oh, those are half days. Those are Wednesday half days.
Yes, those are Wednesdays. And that's why I say maybe we could have a few children to video, students videotape, and you can see those.
Yeah. And if we go, I mean, again, there's lots of presentations all over the school. I just don't want any one group of kids being overwhelmed because 6 or 7 of us go in one room. Because they'd be like.
No, we would direct you.
Yeah, we would strategically set you up with ones.
Yeah, I'm out, I can't go.
Yeah.
How does trades, or automotive folks and all that are all part of this too?
If they select
Everyone.
every student, so they may pick the boy that made the rocking chair, we had the car we built, we had
Came in carpentry.
absolutely.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Whatever their passion
They
is.
can enhance that off of, so it's not.
The students are encouraged to follow what they would like to do and make those connections with people inside or outside the district
Right.
as they would in the pursuit of a normal career.
Are you seeing a lot of in-town, out-of-town kind of support for those trade folks?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's been probably one of the most popular with our tech program and with Mr. Reynolds and Mr. Rice, with the tech, the project these kids have gotten into are magnificent.
Good.
We had a young man for his Eagle Scout, collaborated with our Capstone Project and made us 6 outdoor benches for the courtyard that we still have in purple. So we
That's right, I
try to
remember that.
capitalize on the kids who are interested and want to do for a career what they're doing in their life.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is a truly authentic, genuine learning experience.
I don't know what's cooler, that or that perfect guitar.
Well, that's right.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah,
That one was
a good
amazing.
one too, yeah.
We had the guitar.
I just signed my son's capstone form, so, and then we got the video, and I'm like, okay, now I understand what he has to do, so
Yeah.
it was very.
Well, and you know what? It might even be helpful for him to look at it as well.
Yes,
Sometimes
probably
students
will,
are
yeah.
overwhelmed with it and they start to see what other students do and then they understand and then they can make the process their
Yeah.
own.
I was just talking to Sean, I was saying, it's so broad, so
It is,
to
it's-
actually come up with what you do, I think that's probably one of the most intimidating parts of the Capstone Project. Once you know what you're gonna do, I think it's a little bit easier to find your way.
And you have teachers and staff supporting students the whole way through.
Alright.
Okay, thank you.
Just one other thing, we had our preschool, as I mentioned, Mrs. Alberti and I with Mrs. McCarthy from FRC had our preschool information night. So it is where we present the 3 options for preschool that are under your umbrella. And we had 87 families sign up with interest and at least 68 actually attend. So
Wow, that's a lot.
it is the most we've ever had.
Okay, COVID-19 update. I don't think I have an update. I think I've gone through enough at the beginning of the
I
meeting.
kind of don't want to hear any more updates.
Scott, March 1st, I'd like to welcome the students into the school. So if you would like to have a partner to go
As a
around
group.
and welcome our kids so we can see their smiles.
Smiling.
You got Thelma.
You're always welcome. But March 1 will be interesting, just to see them. Like,
Yep.
I
I mean, I'll stand outside, obviously, but
No,
That's fine.
wow. Okay, town manager Penny and Press have nothing there. The renovation project, I spoke with Kevin from Gilbane today, and next Thursday, Friday, we are going to have the final beam on site, so you're going to get a formal invitation from me for now, I'm just giving you a heads up now, next Thursday or Friday to come and sign the beam. It's the last beam to go on phase A and B of the educational part of the building. And then Monday, the 28th, if my date is correct, is Monday, February 28th, we will actually be raising the beam, and the iron workers will be there, and it's kind of like a formal celebration in the construction world, a topping off ceremony is what they call it. So that last beam will be going up on Monday the 28th.
do you have time frames just so the people?
I do. I've asked for 10 o'clock on the 28th.
Okay.
10 o'clock on the 28th for the raising of that final beam.
Okay.
Those iron workers will be there to place it. The Thursday, Friday, we're expecting the beam to come in on that Thursday mid-morning, and then it'll be there all day Friday. So we can
So do we walk in and be like, hey, I'm here to sign the beam?
I get a little nervous
We have to bring our own pen?
with walking under
Alpine?
construction sites. I'll,
Do I bring my Sharpie?
yeah, we'll have everything there. We'll meet and greet you.
Okay.
The beam will be in a separate area. You're not gonna walk under a crane or anything like that on site, but we'll get you all of those details. Kevin was gonna work on that and get something to me tomorrow. I just wanted to give you a heads up
No, that's great.
on those 2 days, just to be there. It's gonna be cool. Now, we're gonna get all the students at the high school to have a chance to do it, and we'll figure all that out, and the staff as well, because this is the first phase of their academic wing, which in 1 year, a year from now, we'll be sitting in those classrooms.
Nice.
So it's really exciting. They are on schedule or little,
We're gonna say on schedule.
no, actually a little ahead.
Don't-
I'm stealing a lot of the thunder here, but everything's going well.
Yeah, yes, if you drive by, you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Pretty impressive.
It's fascinating.
Exciting.
And the kids, and I don't want to speak on behalf of the high school, but they line up in the window on the second floor, the first floor, and it's just noses against the window and staff as this crane is moving this steel, and the workers are up there, these iron workers, God bless them, and they're motioning and signaling, and then they're connecting, and the kids they're like 5-year-olds. So it's really been nice for them to be a part of seeing this, knowing that in 1 year, this is going to transform into something spectacular for them. So
I picked up my granddaughter, and I was early at the park, and I'm looking, they had 3 beams.
3 of them, that's
And I
what
watched
they
them go, really?
They straighten
And then
3.
they run, and they get it in, the guy walks across, and then we watched him walk across the beam.
They don't even blink.
No.
You're right, 3 beams,
3 beams.
1 line, first one comes down, they lower it more, the second one, boom, boom, then the third one.
Yeah.
And it's 10 degrees and they don't complain. It's such an experience for them to look at what people do every single day. And they're not, no one's saying, are you warm enough? Are your toes cold? They're just working. And it's fascinating. So that's really a positive update for the building project. I'll get an email out to you, formalizing all those dates and times. And that's it for my report.
All right, so we'll move on to committees. We have 2 new board members, and in the packet, there is,
Exhibit C.
it'll look like this. So as part of the board, we sit on various subcommittees, and we have some vacancies as noted here. So if you two can take a look at them and decide if you'd like to be a part of any. Policy is only Beth now, so it would be really nice if we had somebody on policy. And wellness has a vacancy, no one is on wellness.
Curriculum has a vacancy.
Policy, we usually meet in the afternoon once we get going again. We're flexible, we meet right here at central office. Obviously, Beth is on that committee, so if you have the ability to do something during the day, early afternoon, or whenever it's convenient, we work around the board member schedule.
Yeah, and you'll see the other boxes are also open, you could choose one of those, but policy and wellness have the most need right now. So,
When's wellness?
When do we, I'd like to jump in on wellness.
Card, when does wellness meet?
2:30 is on a Tuesday.
Tuesday at 2:30?
Yeah, I'll send you the dates.
Okay.
Okay, so can we?
And you would meet right at TVS?
NBIS.
NBIS you're meeting?
Do you want 1 or 2 members?
We only need one. We've always historically had one, but if you want more than one, I'll take them.
You want to be an alternate, Zach?
You're
You won't
not
make
gonna
2:30?
that. No,
Okay,
you're
never
not gonna
mind.
make that, don't. Just don't even lie to yourself.
So he's not even going to be an alternate.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
Are you good for it, Kim?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
What day does policy meet?
Policy is flexible. So the 2 of you would work on your schedules together and then say, Mr. Schoonmaker, we'll see you Wednesday at 10. Okay, and then we would have it Wednesday at 10 or whenever.
But the policy is just, usually it's state statute changes,
and we get notification from the lawyer, and then she would, we still have SHPA, and then we meet and we talk about it, how we want to run it.
Before I forget, speaking of attorney, do we have any pricing from the attorney and a presentation for the attorney group that we're going with? I totally just remembered that when they said policy.
So we are actively working with Shipman right now for
Okay.
special education.
Yep.
And then the only transition we have right now is for the other personnel and
Yep.
negotiation. And I'm working with Sarah on a name for someone with Shipman that would assist us with that.
So once we have the 3 attorneys
Yeah.
that'll be working with us,
And we'll do
do the pricing and then a quick meet and greet?
Yeah.
Perfect, okay.
Yeah. So we have been working with the special ed attorney who's been going really well.
Okay, good.
I don't want to speak on your behalf.
No,
I
it
keep
absolutely
saying
has
that, but
been.
I'm speaking on
It's been
everyone's
going well.
behalf.
The meetings have been going really smoothly, efficient, time savings.
We like time savings.
Yes, we do.
And efficient
Yes,
with
we
quality
do.
outcome.
They're all good things.
Oh, we've had good quality outcome.
Okay.
And curriculum, does anybody want to sit on curriculum instruction?
I don't know how necessary that is now that curriculum is part of our board meeting.
It's true.
As long as you guys agree, if we have things that really would be either lengthwise or otherwise done outside the meeting, I will send you presentations or recordings so you can all see them and then we can have a.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Tracy, can any of these presentations be made public?
All of them can. We would never record something that I wouldn't want public.
Right.
So.
It just might be nice so that if people get the, when our minutes are posted, if there's any like PowerPoint or presentation.
We can link it.
We can link it, and then if anybody has a question during the board meeting, they can either come and ask, or they can be, it's more interactive.
Sure.
And that, but
So
that's
when we
like-
post the minutes to your meeting or even the agendas, if there's
The
something
agenda.
I've had sent ahead of time, we could always link it.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yep.
So I can do policy.
Oh, great, thank you, Victoria.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to put someone else on curriculum and instruction. It's up to you.
I think we're okay right now with 2, unless someone has a burning desire to be on it. I really do like, for the most part, that we all get the same information and have the opportunity to, question and share ideas and have the administration, all of them at kind of our fingertips so that we can get clarification. So I'm happy with that. So let's go through reports. There's no negotiations. Budget and operations is now part of this meeting. Curriculum is part of this meeting. Did pension have a meeting then?
We did.
Tell me.
And we approved 3 pension retirements. Only one was from Board Member Marie Torrey.
Yes.
And there was a change, and we replaced our Price Blue Chip Growth Fund with Fidelity Blue Chip Growth Fund. And we only have 1 person left from the Board of Ed that's on the pension.
Right.
But I talked to Anthony, and even when that person retires, we still need a Board of Ed person on the committee.
Okay. Okay. And in the consent agenda, there was a motion for Zach to be alternate.
Yes.
So just so we could.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, it was in there, just so I wanted to make clarification of it. Okay. Policy, no meeting, correct?
No.
Yep. ACES, Jenna?
They did have a meeting, but I was unable to attend.
Okay. Building committee? Anything fantastic other than the beam?
Just the beam?
And being on time?
The beam, the landscaping, but they're really narrowing down a lot of landscaping with Fran Marola and his crew who will have to maintain it. So they're eliminating a lot of trees and other growth that will be problematic close to the building. So I think that's been a real positive thing to have local people who are going to care for it.
Yeah.
So that's going well.
Can I ask a question? Are they planning to do mostly native plants?
Yes.
I really hope so. Yes.
I'm nodding my head, Beth.
And we're getting rid of the tulip trees because
Yeah, the mess.
They don't have to do the tulip trees.
Right.
So they have like an arborist who's helping them decide because the architect,
Yeah.
does this beautiful thing, but it's like not realistic for us.
Right. We want things that are going to stay alive, have relatively low maintenance, and contribute to an aesthetically pleasing environment.
Right, and then native also will
Yes.
play into environmental as far as,
Exactly.
helping pollinators and.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I say yes.
Local plants,
That's what we're.
animals, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's the Boy Scout coming out in you.
Well, that's okay, yeah.
Okay, communications, there was no communication. Well, there was no communication either.
No, you're right.
New business? All right, no new business. No visitors and press? Nope, that's quick. Good to the board?
Just one thing, JHS started to write up Exhibit F. You know, when they do these good nights, Jerome Harrison, I think a lot of kids enjoy that more than, I don't know if you get the feedback, positive feedback, but my child does.
Yeah, wonderful things.
Yeah.
It's something that PTO implemented last year, where staff members will sign up and lead good night story tours, children over Zoom, and the kids love it, and it's just a nice event for our students.
And is Read Across America happening?
Yes, it is.
That's my.
I'm working on my son's costume. I'm trying to do something simple and he's trying to do something complicated, so.
What's the theme?
Candyland.
Nice.
That's the cutest costume.
I like how it's just a color.
fun.
We do a color, oh no, I have to do this. I'm like, oh.
I cannot wait to see it.
It's Friday, March 4th.
No, it's Friday?
Yes.
Oh, man, Bear's not there. Because she's in Pride.
Bring her in.
We're going to have a issue back. We're going to. I'm going to turn her to school that day. She'll
One student's not going to make it. Bring her in, we're fine.
Carter, there's a thing on yours caught my attention, visible thinking. What is that?
It's kind of a whole school approach to instruction. Teachers, staff members work toward really teaching in a way that facilitates the kids sharing their thinking in classroom through multiple ways. So verbally, through pictures, graphs. So in a math lesson, kids will be actively making meaning of the math problem, showing how their strategy is, and then kids will have discourse about it. So it's just an approach. We've been working on it for a couple of years. It's really taken shape.
It's almost like a brainstorming in the business world.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
It's about teaching kids to think.
Right.
So that you have a model, if someone else is explaining it how they thought, then child who maybe thought like, wow, how'd they come up with that, then gets to see the processes others go through.
Things like gallery walks.
I asked the same thing to Tracy, and she forwarded some information to me, so maybe either I can forward it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I just put what, Carter actually went to Harvard's program a few years ago over the summer. And myself and our coaches are registered for the Harvard Project Zero series.
Got it.
So when you read through your briefs, if there's questions, don't hesitate to send in questions. They're never gonna.
Well, it's nice to ask them here too.
No, but
so
you
that-
can, but just to get the information that you do, and you'll get something sent to you like that did.
And a little shout out for Jerome and Totakin. They raised a ton of money for the Kids Art Challenge.
Yes.
63,000.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Number one in the state and number one in the Northeast for how much they raised.
And my son was serious, like he gagged me to death. I mean, every day we have to help these kids, we have to, these are sick kids, we need to raise money for them. Oh my God, they did a really good job brainwashing my son. No, he was very into it, so he was excited.
Carter and Jeff have done, all of them, but this has been going on for years, and they've built this up to such an incredibly positive experience. So I don't know if there's anything you want to share, Carter. I know, we've been working on trying to get some press on that, and I think some things are going to happen where we should get good press. But with everything that the kids have gone through over the last several months, this has been a real, I think, feel-good story for what they're able to do. So anything?
Yeah, I mean, not only have you raised a lot of money, and it's a tribute to families for really supporting that, but the effort that the kids make in terms of, kind of advocating for better health and why we do this, and learning the benefits of physical activity, and understanding kids with heart problems and what that challenge is like. So it's kind of that dual effort, and it's a community building event. The PE teachers are outstanding with it, as well as really motivating kids to get involved. And I think, Dave Carpenter has done this for 14 years, and he's, it's like $250,000 he's raised over that time. He's one of their top
I mean, he slept on the roof.
I was just
of the
gonna
building.
say, in a
He had a
snowstorm.
fire out here, and
He slept on the
with
roof.
a fire, and I thought we were gonna call the fire department, we're looking out the window. And you said, no, that's Mr. Carpenter, who's having a little fire for the kids out there, because he's sleeping outside tonight to raise money for the.
Well, they win, I think, right, they raise money and then he has to do something.
Yes.
Right,
You know,
he does something
yeah.
crazy.
I think they shaved his head one year or something.
Oh, geez, Mr. Ramsey's swimming with sharks. this year.
Last year, he
Okay.
was skydiving, so always something.
Wow.
All right.
Skydiving?
He went last year, yes.
Wow.
Good for him.
One more thing. Carter, thank you for putting in about the warning and about doing the pledge. I know, because it is state statute that they have to say the pledge, but thank you for reminding me. Absolutely.
And that's in every building.
Well, you need to think putting this.
Oh, his briefs.
Yes.
Yeah, the students do it, and it's really a nice touch.
Absolutely. That's a great habit to get into from a very young age.
Yes, very much so.
This is a lot of.
All right, the next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 17th. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?